Live from Washburn University in Topeka, Kansas, it's KSWU News.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Spring 2015 series of KSWU News. I'm Carly Willis.
And I'm Sarah Sewell.
Since his re-election in November, Kansas Governor Sam Brownback has been making local and national news. Here is Farai Harold with the story.
On the 10th of February, Governor Sam Brownback signed an executive order removing job protection from LGBTQ state employees. Brownback's actions angered many Kansas residents, and 4 days later on Valentine's Day, over 500 people, including legislators and local leaders, gathered in the cold at the Capitol to protest the order in the name of love. Washburn student Damian Barron was excited to share his voice at the protest.
Well, it's Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is all about love, and everybody should be able to love who they want without facing discrimination for it. So it's all about love today.
In the face of these actions, multiple petitions to recall Governor Brownback have appeared online, and a petition at moveon.org has almost 40,000 signatures. Many Kansas residents, like activist and Washburn student Sean Kelly, have lost faith in the governor.
No, I think he should be recalled. Okay. I think he's owned by a corporation, and I think this is a tactical plan. I think that it's just going to continue to happen, and he's going to gut the state of Kansas like a trout.
The state of Kansas is currently $334 million in debt, and several cuts adding up to $44.5 million have been cut from education. This has left many Kansas residents in fear of the state of public education. Several other petitions, sit-ins, and letter-writing campaigns have appeared online in answer to the funding cuts, as the people of Kansas join together to share their opinions. This is Farai Harold reporting for KSWU News.
The executive order was signed by Governor Brownback's predecessor, Kathleen Sebelius. A guilty verdict in the murder of Chris Kyle, the man depicted in the box office blockbuster American Sniper, has been reached. There is no question that Eddie Ray Routh killed Chris Kyle and Chad Littlefield. The jury was forced to wrestle with whether or not Routh's mental illness was to blame. The trial has received national attention in part because it coincided with the release of the hit movie American Sniper starring Bradley Cooper. Back in 2013, Kyle and Littlefield were helping to counsel Routh, who was also a war veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder. They took Routh to a shooting range as part of that therapy when Routh turned on both men, shooting and killing them. The defense argued that Routh had a long history of mental illness and he killed the two men because he was delusional and thought the pair planned to kill him. The prosecution agreed that Routh knew right from wrong and that he should be found guilty. The jury agreed with the prosecution and took less than 3 hours to convict Routh. The judge immediately sentenced Routh to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
For the first time in 5 years, President Obama exercised his veto power. The president rejected legislation that would have given final approval to the Keystone XL oil pipeline. The planned pipeline would transport oil from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico. Republicans aren't believed to have enough vetoes to override the veto. Advocates say the pipeline would create jobs, but opponents say there are too many environmental risks. The project has been under review by the State Department for years. A White House official said it is possible that the president could approve the pipeline once that review is finished. The K-State student who made physical contact with KU basketball player Jamari Traylor has been issued a citation for disorderly conduct. After K-State upset Kansas 70-63, K-State students stormed the court. Nathan Power has been identified as the student. Power met with K-State police and was issued a notice to appear for a charge of disorderly conduct. Coming up, we'll meet with a 19-year-old CEO, plus...
Off to a hot start. Stay tuned to see how the Ichabods fared in today's game in Topeka. That and more sports later in the show on KSWU News.
No more. It's none of my business.
No more. I'm sure they'll work it out.
No more. It only happened once.
No more. He said he was sorry. No more. Why doesn't she just leave?
No more. Not my problem.
No more. But he has such a bright future.
No more. He didn't mean it.
No more bystanding. No more ignorance.
No more excuses.
No more.
Don't let me throw it down. Don't let me throw it down. That down. Don't let me throw it down. Don't let me throw it down. That down.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach re-employment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Hello everyone and welcome back to KSWU News. I'm Carly Willis and I'm here with Zach Haney, author of The Teen CEO, Lessons from a Teenage Business Owner, and also a Washburn student planning to run for City Council. Zach, it's good to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on.
Of course. So let's start out with why you decided to run for City Council.
Okay. Well, I have always been very active in the community and I'm passionate about helping other young people have a voice for the city. So, I was looking at it a couple of months ago that they were looking for someone in my district to run, and I filled out all the paperwork, and yeah, here we are.
Wonderful. And is that District 4?
That is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're elected to City Council, how would you balance your time between being a Washburn student, being a business owner, and also being a city councilman?
Yeah, it's definitely something that I've already have to start looking at because owning a business and going to college is already difficult enough, and so adding city council can add a whole nother level to that. But I do very well with keeping a calendar updated, so city council will add added pressure to everything, but I'll be able to balance all of that.
Well, good luck with that for
Thank
sure.
you.
Tell me a little bit about the business that you run.
Mm-hmm. So I started the Carnival Guy when I was 16 years old. We are a party rental company, so we plan school carnivals, corporate picnics, just a variety of events. We've been a part of some here at Washburn and places all over Northeast Kansas. So we continue to grow, which is great, but primarily we're a weekend business, so my weekends are normally tied up with running the business.
So what is your role in all of your Carnival Guy business?
Well, it's a small business, so you really have your hand in just about everything, from working with clients to setting up events and actually operating the events. So as the owner, I am involved in just about every aspect that you could imagine that the business would need.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about your book, The Teen CEO, if we didn't see that before, Lessons from a Teenage Business Owner.
So, I had quite a few people asking me as I would go out into the community, work at these events. They'd ask questions like, where was this company 10 years ago? And I had to say, well, I was 9 years old, so the company didn't exist. So I thought, I'm going to put some things on paper, share a story, and then during my senior year of high school, it really evolved into something bigger. So the Teen CEO was kind of a nickname that people started calling me, and I thought, I'll write a book and I'll call it that. So The Teen CEO was released my first year here at Washburn, and now I'm able to share that with people all around the country, which is incredible.
That is, yes. And as the book says, it's one of America's top 5 young entrepreneurs of 2014. If you're just now joining us, I'm here with Zach Haney, who is the author of The Teen CEO and also running for District 4 and City Council. So tell me a little bit more about what it's like to be a Washburn student and have all of these different commitments.
Well, I really love coming to Washburn. It allows me to stay local so I can continue to operate my business. The professors and things that I have here have been very insightful and helpful with a lot of things that I'm interested in. So I love being a student here at Washburn just because of the closeness that it has to the Topeka community. So there's a lot of things that I wouldn't have if I wasn't a student here.
And are you from Topeka originally?
I am. So I graduated from Shawnee Heights High School, which is, southeast Topeka.
Sure. So running for city council, is this a leeway to something bigger in the future? Are you hoping to run for state or something like that eventually someday?
Yeah, city council is definitely a great place to start. It's pretty voluntary. It's not like you're making money or anything at this, but it is something that I believe personally will allow me to be that voice for other young people. I think Topeka is a wonderful community. Sometimes I just don't think people see all the great things that the city has to offer. So I want to be that voice for young people here in town and allow them to see all of the things that Topeka has. And starting off with city council, I believe that could lead me into other roles eventually in the future.
So as a fresh young voice, what kind of issues are pertinent to you?
Well, so in high school, being from Topeka, I heard a lot of other students say, I can't wait to get out of here, or, I'm going to go to college somewhere else so I don't have to be stuck in Topeka, and just some of that negative things that you would hear. And so I really want to showcase Topeka, show them the opportunities that we do have here. We have a wonderful university, which, we all know, and so just allowing other students to see some of those things, but also attracting new companies, new jobs, so that when we are graduating from Washburn or university around the area, that we'll have those opportunities here.
Wonderful. Well, Zach, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your run for Topeka City Council.
I appreciate it.
We'll be back after this. Yay!
All the
Thank you.
preparation, the training, it all comes down to this.
To be a winning team, you have to work like a winning team.
We have a job to do out here today.
Some people think it's about muscle, but it's really about heart. A lot of heart.
My team depends on me.
And my team is 50,000 strong. Looks like a lot of work's going into this.
Is what it feels like to be part of a team.
A winning team.
The action team.
Get in on the action at actionteam.org. Are you in?
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. Since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to KSWU News. Although it is a place to study, especially during finals week, the Maybe Library has a lot more to offer. Israel Sanchez has more.
If you're looking to escape the cold weather, or just looking for a quiet place to study, the Maybe Library is a perfect place for that. Lindsay Scrivener, a senior, is one of many students who enjoys coming to the library.
I like it because it's a great place to study. I personally love the third floor for when I'm doing my one-on-one study sessions, where I have 2 online classes basically a semester, so it gives me a nice quiet area to study and get all my work done.
According to Sean Bird, Associate Dean of University Libraries, the library is also instrumental in the students' success.
We want students to be here because we know that students who come to the library will succeed at a higher rate. When I say succeed, I mean these 3 things specifically. They have higher GPAs. Students who use the library retain at a higher rate, they come back next year. And students who use the library graduate at a higher rate.
One of the ways the library staff helps students succeed is by offering tutoring services.
If a student's having trouble with college algebra, a student's having trouble with first-year composition, there is somebody in the library, in the tutoring and writing center that they can go to and get the help that they need right now.
But the library is not just a place for academic endeavors. The coffee shop is also a place where students can socialize.
Students live in the LLC, or they live in their apartment, or they live in their home. Then they go to class. So those are the first two places, home and class. But the library serves as a third place where everybody can come together and have conversations about what they're learning, about how what they're learning applies to the wide world.
But if you're not looking to socialize and all you need is a quiet place to study, the library's third floor is the perfect place for that.
And then also because I'm an English major, I have so much reading to do and I get distracted so easily, so it's nice to have a nice quiet place.
For KSWU News, I'm Israel Sanchez.
The Maybe Library also offers academic advising for students who have questions about their degrees or about other careers.
Washburn University is reviewing its notification policies after a rape on campus that happened February 11th. The iAlert system at Washburn is its primary means of communication during a campus emergency or special situation. The investigation is still underway, but Washburn police say they have identified the suspect. The incident took place at Carroll Chapel at 8:30 a.m. on February 11th. President Farley says there is no need to the campus, there was no threat to the campus, and therefore no need for an iAlert. Coming up on the show, we will meet with the director of the Vagina Monologues. Stay tuned.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to KSWU News. I'm Sarah Sewell, and I'm here today with Heather Ives, the director of the Vagina Monologues play that's coming to Washburn. So you've come back to your alma mater to direct a play.
Yes.
What were your plans, or how did you come about taking that position?
Well, I was contacted by one of the professors in the theater department, Sharon Sullivan. I had directed the play the previous time they've done it at Washburn, and she asked me to come back and see if I would direct it again, and I jumped at the chance.
Okay, so have you made changes this time around, or?
Yes, the show is different every single time you do it just because of the cast. The cast is always rotating and evolving, and so every single time you get a different show, which is why people come back year after year to see it. Mm-hmm. But this year we've done a couple things differently. We've staged it a little differently, and there's new pieces involved. So I would encourage anybody who has come to see it in the past to come see it again this year, because it's different.
All right, have you directed anything besides the Vagina Monologues?
I have not. The Vagina Monologues are the only shows that I have directed, but I am looking to pursue that in the future.
So far, how has preparation for the show gone?
It's gone really well. From auditions straight through tonight, we have another rehearsal, our rehearsal, and then tomorrow's our dress rehearsal, and then the show goes up. But I'm really pleased with the work that everyone's done on the show. The ladies have done excellent jobs.
What do you think is the biggest challenge you've come across as a director?
Well, casting is always difficult. They say if you cast a show right, then 90% of your work is already done. And so finding each person which voice fits with what monologue is definitely a challenge, and has been probably the biggest challenge to date.
If you're just tuning in, this is Heather Ives. She's directing the Vagina Monologues for Washburn University. We were just talking about the casting of the characters that are playing in the play. How did the women adapt to their roles?
Well, each of them is an individual monologue, so there's not a lot of interaction between each of the characters in the show. And so it's very much individual preparation. That being said, there are some rather difficult pieces in it, but they've put forth the work and they've done an excellent job.
Awesome. Well, Leslie, is there anything you want us to know about the show?
Yes, the show will be at Washburn here in Garvey Theater. I'm sorry, the Georgia Nice Gray Theater. It will be Friday and Saturday. The show starts at 7:30. The tickets are available at the door for a $10 donation. All of the proceeds from this show go directly to a local charity here in Topeka. And so they can come and enjoy the show. There's a fair that goes on before, so we recommend you get there around 7 o'clock.
Well, thanks for joining us, Heather. I look forward to seeing the play. We will be back right after this break.
I believe that home is where your pet is.
And that loving an animal means never giving up on them, never letting them go.
I believe that when you spay or neuter your pets, you help decrease the number of homeless animals.
Because every dog and cat deserves a place to call home.
I believe that I found my best friend at a shelter. And you can too.
We believe that together with Best Friends Animal Society,
we can bring about a time when there are no more homeless pets.
Visit ambassadors.bestfriends.org.
Odds of becoming an astronaut, 1 in 13,200,000. Odds of being struck by lightning, 1 in 576,000. Odds of dating a supermodel, 1 in 88,000. Odds of bowling a perfect game, 1 in 11,500. Odds of being trapped in an elevator, 1 in 24,528. Odds of catching a ball at a major league game, 1 in 563. Odds of an injury from shaving, 1 in 6,585. Odds of tripping while texting, 1 in 10. Odds of getting cancer in your lifetime, 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women.
It's up to us.
To change the odds for our generation.
For the ones we love.
For our future.
If you don't like the odds,
stand up. Stand up to cancer.
Welcome back to KSWU News. The Washburn women's basketball team will face their final opponent of the regular season this Saturday. The Ichabods will play number 11 Pittsburgh State at 5 p.m. in Lee Arena. The Ichabods are led by Taylor Ignoto, who's averaging over 14 points a game. Kason Buckman is averaging almost 12.7 points a game, and Honor Duvall is coming in at 11.8 points per game. Washburn is now 8-10 and have clinched a spot in the MIAA tournament. That tournament will begin next week. The Washburn men's basketball team took on Emporia State last Saturday. The Ichabods opened the first half shooting 60% from the field, giving them a 17-point halftime lead. The Ichabods then took that lead and turned it into a 79-54 win over the Hornets. Senior Kyle Wiggins led the team with 19 points. Washburn will play Saturday against Pittsburgh State on senior night in Lee Arena. The men, just as well as the women, have reserved a spot in the MIAA Championship Tournament. That bracket will be announced after the final MIAA games have been played on Saturday. Finally, the Washburn Ichabods took a break from MIAA play to take on Rockhurst at Valley Field in a 9-inning game. Washburn scored in all but 3 innings to top the Hawks 9-7. The Ichabods are coming off of a week after sweeping Southwest Baptist in their MIAA opening 4-game series in Wichita. The Ichabods then took a win 8-7 over Minnesota Crookston on Saturday last week. Today was Rockhurst's first game of the season. The 9-0 start for the Ichabods is the best start since 1948 season, when the Ichabods finished the season 10-0. Well, stick with us here on KSWU News. We'll be right back after this.
No more. It's none of my business.
No more. I'm sure they'll work it out.
No more, it only happened once.
No more, he said he was sorry. No more, why doesn't she just leave?
No more, not my problem.
No more, but he has such a bright future.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more bystanding. No more ignorance.
No more excuses.
No more.
Don't make me throw it down. Don't make me throw it down. Get down. Don't make me throw it down. Don't make me throw it down. Get down.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach re-employment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community.
Welcome back to KSWU News. If you haven't heard, this afternoon, Nathan Power, the KSU student accused and shown on camera of shoving Jamari Trailer after KSU's win over KU a couple nights ago, has issued an official apology to the student newspaper, as well as being offered a citation from the K-State Police Department. He claimed that his emotions got the best of him. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, that's. I'm glad he came out and apologized, owned up to it. I mean, I'm glad we don't have any troublemakers like that here at Washburn. That could make put a black eye on the university. But I'm glad he owned up to it, and I think we can just all move past it now.
I would agree. He's paid his debt to society at this point.
Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us at KSWU News.
I'm Carly Willis.
I'm Trevin Edelman. Thanks for joining us.
I'm Sarah Sewell.
Good night.